In episode 11.4 of Unshuffled, we take a deep dive on the fourth album from LCD Soundsystem. It's called American Dream. Let's check it out. Welcome, listeners. Welcome to Unshuffled. I'm your host, Matt, and joining me, my man in Japan, Mr. Scotty D.
Morning, Matt. Oh, good gracious! I sound like my mom. Those are. I went ahead. I jumped ahead to my favorite lyrics. I think those are my favorite lyrics of all time. I wanted to. I wanted to start it with that.
Yeah, it's a good one. Caught me off guard there. Because I've never met your mum. My mum says I sound like my mum sometimes. She puts the H after the W's in like white and words like that.
Oh, does she?
Yeah.
I thought that was an Iowa thing.
No, well, it's also a Ballarat thing, apparently. Yeah, we're talking today, listeners, about the fourth and second final, I guess, because the last one was supposed to be their final album. This is their fourth album. They sort of played their last ever gig. The fans said their farewell, and then 6 months later, they went off and recorded a new album. This one's called American Dream. We quite like the last one, although I did have a few issues here and there with songs that sounded a little too similar to others, if you recall. So let's see how we go with this one. I'll be interested to hear your thoughts on that issue as we go through it. But before we get into that sort of discussion, Scott, you better do what you always do and give us the important details about the album.
All right. So this fourth output from LCD Soundsystem called American Dream. You already alluded to the fact that they were supposed to be done and then they came back, but we talked about that in the last episode. It came out on September 1st, 2017. James Murphy produced it, the label DFA Columbia. It looks like it took them about 2 years to record this. Recording sort of happened scattershot from October 2015 to May 2017. So year and a half, I guess. And it was recorded in New York, in London, and Portland. The album artwork is called Simple Aesthetic. It's by Robert Reynolds, who is a friend of James Murphy's. And the lineup, the lineup is what it is. I guess it's James Murphy again on everything, and then Pat Mahoney, Nancy Wang, Tyler Pope, Al Doyle, all making their way back in.
Yeah, familiar names by this stage. And once again, I've got the CD, as I usually do, which comes with a nice booklet. And like they did on the last album, song by song, they tell you what instruments are involved and who played them. So that's a nice little touch. Plus, really nice lyrics. Good photography throughout, black and white photos of the band. Nice little package. Recommend that. The cover art, you mentioned the artist. I've heard this, I read somewhere and saw this compared to a PowerPoint slide. What do you think of that? What do you think of that for an observation?
I like it.
Or something like you'd see on a Windows.
Yeah. Startup or whatever.
Yeah. I don't know. It's a painting, is it?
That's what I've written down, but I don't actually know what the medium is.
Right.
As you hold it up, it doesn't look very painting-y, but that doesn't mean anything.
It's a nice blue sky with the sun in the middle. Kind of reminds me of the sky here in Portugal most of the year.
Yeah.
But not particularly inspiring. I don't know.
It looks like it's called Simple Aesthetic, so it does the job.
That's true. Anyway, doesn't matter. A nice band photo, and it sort of folds out, and you get a photo of.
Oh, look at that! It looks like
members of the collective.
Yeah, it looks like a yearbook, doesn't it?
It does. For hipsters. The school of hipsters. Aging
somewhere,
hipsters.
somewhere in Brooklyn and or Portland.
Yeah. White frame sunglasses. Plastic white frames on sunglasses.
I have
Where do
yellow
you
frame
stand?
sunglasses that
Yeah.
I'm pretty happy with. So
Okay. Well, I better not say too much more.
I'm gonna go ahead and let that man have a pass on his white frame sunglasses.
I've dabbled in the past. Don't get me wrong. Those trips to Bali that every Australian does usually come home with about 4 or 5 pairs of fake sunglasses that you slowly lose over the next few months. Now, we've got 4 categories of song to discuss. And like we always do, we'll start with the opener so that we can both have some common ground when we're discussing the song. So let's kick it off. Shall I start today? I'll
Yeah.
take the new ball, as they say in cricket.
I think you should.
Yep. I like this one. This is called Oh Baby. A very slow build up, slow tempo. It reminded me quite a lot of the opener on the previous album, Dance Yourself Clean. So played a similar sort of role in sort of slowly introducing the new album. And it had those sort of overpowering synth tones once it all kicks in later on. It's in a similar way to Dance Yourself Clean. I've sort of started to associate that particular sound with this band. That's a quite unique sound to me, maybe not unique to others, but that sound to me is the sound of LCD Soundsystem. The song itself reminded me a lot of a song called Rise by Public Image Limited. Which is not the commonly, like if you Google around, that's not the one that people identify as the influence. That's a song called Dream Baby Dream. I don't know that one. Perhaps we can link to both in the show notes and you can decide. But do you know the song I mean, Rise?
I don't know that I do. What?
It was the guy from the Sex Pistols was in Public
No, I know
Image
Public
Limited.
Image Limited,
And
and I
the
know.
song is I could be wrong, I could be right. I could be wrong, I could be the vocals are nothing like this song, but it's something about the music reminding me of. Let the road rise with you. Anyway, we'll link to it. Listeners, you can make your own mind up. But I thought it was a nice opener. Maybe up there with Dance Yourself Clean as in terms of how effective it was. What do you think?
Yeah, no, I agree. I agree that it was reminiscent of Dance Yourself Clean, and I remember in the last one I had mentioned that I think Dance Yourself Clean was my favorite of the openers. I think I like this one better. I think we have a new top spot.
Yeah.
It's moody. I like how the tension builds as it progresses. Sort of like I love what the kind of, as you're talking about, the typical sound of LCD Soundsystem and how they sort of just layer, right? And so he allows things to kind of just build and unravel in the music. And I feel that I like the layering. The low end, it kept reminding me of something, and I was trying to figure out what it was. Did you ever see this movie? It was called Strange Brew.
Not
It was this movie, these Canadian comedians, Rick Moranis from Honey, I Shrunk Something or Other.
the kids.
Yeah, there it is. And it was like the two brothers, and somehow I haven't seen the movie since I was like 6, so I don't really know how the hell things transpired. But somehow they end up in some nefarious plot for some hockey guy that's taken over the world. Point is, they hypnotize these hockey players with this music. These hockey players all come out looking like all Darth Vader and whatnot. Anyway, the music sounded like that.
Okay.
We'll link to Strange Brew in the show notes.
Yeah, let's link to that one too.
That scene has got to be on YouTube. I'll find it.
All
Anyway,
right.
his voice slowly builds, goes quiet again. I really like how he kind of plays with the tension of the mood in the song. Lyrically, he seems to be trying to hold on to something like a relationship that's kind of in its final throes. Sort of like maybe he's done something wrong. There's this pleading that he's clean, he's begging, and he says that she's running from him. I liked it. It was, yeah. I think I put this in my top as album openers for LCD Soundsystem.
Yeah. Just looking at recent set lists, I think they still play this, but maybe not every gig. They're touring at the moment, or less, they seem to be, and they're heading over to Europe, as we've discussed soon. But this seems to get a bit of a run. Maybe not. I don't know if you'd have room for both this and Dance Yourself Clean on a
No, I
set
think you'd have
list.
to have one or the other.
And a live, maybe Dance Yourself Clean might be. Maybe that's just because we've seen the footage live. I don't know. But yeah, I don't think you can have both. They're too similar. But yeah, really good. And just as good, if not better, than the opener on the previous album. So I'm interested to hear what your killer is, because I just changed mine minutes before the podcast. So, tell me what yours was.
Okay.
The best song on the album.
I by the way, I found Bob and Doug McKenzie Strange Brew clip number 10. We'll link it.
Okay.
That's
All
the
right.
scene I was talking about. All right. Anyway, my killer is Emotional Haircut. I like the play, the real, the analog instruments.
Whoa.
There's
Is this our first track 9 killer?
it might be. It might be.
Wow. Big moment.
I really like the guitar bit and the breakdown. There's sort of this drum and bass. Stylistically, it has kind of an alt rock feel. It stands out. It feels different to me than anything on the album, and I really like this album. But this song is one that kept drawing me back.
Wow. Because this, I don't technically have a filler, but this is probably the closest I had to it. Maybe I'm just biased against track 9s generally.
Is that it? Did I throw you off?
Maybe. Because we're always hunting for it. And so you're sort of more attuned to it. You just notice this could be filler, it's track 9. It is, it's a quirky song. It kind of reminded me of Talking Heads. There's quite a few Talking Heads moments.
Absolutely. It totally did. Yes,
Yeah.
it did.
There's a couple of other Talking Heads type songs, and they're obviously a big influence of this band, and that's cool. I mean, they're a good band, right? I can't say I've ever gone much past the big hits Talking Heads, but I always like hearing them.
The old man band that I'm currently in, we've been doing some Talking Heads songs. So it's possible that influenced
Okay.
sort of my being drawn to this song.
Right. Yeah, it's got this sort of jerky feel to it. Yeah, I mean, it's a quirky song. It's also some nice sort of dissonant sounds throughout. It's yeah, I can see its charms, but it just never quite grabbed me. And I wasn't quite willing to call it filler in the end, but it was as close as it got for me. But interesting that it's your killer.
It was hotly contested between my killer and my grower, but I liked my killer longer. So technically, by classification, one had to win over the other.
All right. My killer is track 3, I Used To. I just changed recently, but I think now, just thinking about, I think this would be, I just wanted to put a song on from this album. I think this would be the first one I'd go for. And maybe it's because it's the closest thing to my bag, my wheelhouse. And in saying that, probably yours too. Like the most of all the things we've listened to before this band that we really like, this is probably, all that. It's very Queens of the Stone Age, Josh Homme, this one. So it sounded familiar in a way, not just like, oh, that sounds like some other band, but this sounds like a band that I really like. And I think the falsetto, it's got a falsetto section that was kind of quatsery as well, because Josh does that a little from time to time. So yeah, just a big, slow, sort of sexy swing, big fat bass line sitting underneath it all, some nice synths. I just really liked this, and it felt like, this is my kind of music, and I really enjoyed it.
So this was my grower. I don't have much more to add than what you said. A lot of what you said I already have written down.
Queens of the Stone Age vibes?
Yeah. Absolutely. Josh Homme vibes, I think, as what.
Yep.
And then, but talked about sort of, I like the dynamics of how the guitar works against sort of that like Casio 80s style keyboard. But you'd mentioned the bass, and I don't know how to describe it, but the bass almost feels like it's splashing around in puddles. Like there's this really kind of cool effect on the bass sound that I really like. That really kind of drew me in.
Yeah, it gives it all a real swagger, doesn't it?
Yeah.
Apparently, it's James Murphy bass guitar.
It doesn't say like what pedals or anything he's using, I assume.
No, but it's him on the bass, as well as plenty of other things. But yeah, I like that. I just switched. It was going to be How Do You Sleep, which I also think deserves a mention. But let's talk Grower before we get into perhaps other mentions. So you've just told me that was your grower.
It was my grower.
My grower was called The Police, track 7. And I told you just before we started recording that I'd been listening to Pulp, Common People by Pulp. And the reason I was listening to that was because this song called The Police kind of reminded me of Pulp. And the build up that James Murphy does so well, continually adding in new instruments, new melody lines and so on. I love the way this song just keeps building and building, this rising action throughout the song, and keeps going. Like it doesn't have a bit where it all drops away and comes back, but it just keeps building in the same way that Common People does. That just more and more just keeps coming in, and it just ends up. I love that. I love songs like that, and I really like Common People, and I love the way this built up, just kept building over the song. That was my grower. I've given you an almost filler, which was your killer. Remember, this is not necessarily filler. It can be just a chance to pop anything negative you want to throw in, or
It's technically not filler. I guess it's just pulse. The track 11.
Right.
Which isn't technically filler because it's the end, but it was just sort of that whole final, and I guess it's like, what were they thinking / filler.
Is that a separate track on your recording, on your whatever you're playing?
Yeah.
The last bit.
Was it not for you?
It's all part of Black Screen as far as I was.
Well, so then that's
You mean the last 5 minutes or so of Black Screen?
Well, okay, so here's what I have. Why did Black Screen need to be so long? The last 4 minutes of piano tinkering is nice, but it doesn't end the album. It then goes into 14 minutes of Pulse.
Oh.
Do you not have that on
I don't have Pulse, no.
Oh, okay. I wonder if that might have been just like a digital.
Yeah, maybe. Yeah. I got no Pulse. Black Screen's the last thing on mine. And I really like the way it ends.
That was what I thought, that ending it on that little piano bit was a nice way to end the album, and then it goes into, and I was just like, wait, why is this happening?
What is Pulse? What does it do? It's just a pulsing sound.
It's just like, it's just sort of a cacophony of sound.
Oh. No, that's awful. But I thought Black Screen was just the perfect swan song for the band. It felt like an ending.
I'm in agreement, which is why I have it as my what were they thinking / filler.
And I thought, and that last 5 minutes of the song only makes sense. The piano tinkering bit only makes sense if it is the ending. Like that's what it is. It's a sort of, you're sort of fading off into a dream or into, like it was a beautiful way to end the album. Anyway, that's a shock to me. I'm shocked, listeners.
I can't play it for you without us getting sued, can I?
No, all right, no, you can't. I'll have a listen. We'll link to it in the show notes, Scotty.
We'll link to it in the show notes.
Pulse. Oh, I feel sad for you that you had to deal with that. I was left with this just serene moment of just beauty, and you're left with some cacophony of noise.
Yeah, listen, everybody close your ears real quick. I'm turning it on. It's 13 minutes and 39 seconds.
Of that sort of stuff.
It's just kind of like noodling.
Yeah, that sucks, man. I understand. What were you thinking, guys? Or James in particular. What were you thinking? You just had to put a little bit extra on the end. You had the perfect ending. You duffer. That's a classic Aussie insult. The duffer. Heard that one?
Yeah, I do. I hadn't heard it in a while though. I was about ready to comment on you dusting that off.
You duffer. What a duffer. All right. So they're the 4 categories. So well done, us. And I just wanted to just mention, though, even though it's not technically one of the categories, I just wanted to mention How Do You Sleep? And see if you had any notes or thoughts about it. Because it's got that drumming start. Yeah.
Can that be your standout moment?
Yeah, let's call it that. Let's call it the standout
Right.
moment. Thank you. Good thinking. It definitely deserves a mention. I mean, I love that drumming opening to that, the percussion at the start, and it's so atmospheric. And he's sort of standing on the shore facing east. That bit doesn't work here in Portugal, by the way. We're facing east, no good. You're looking back inland. But it's sort of almost like Dave Lombardo or Igor or something. I would have loved to hear that in that opening bit. And
I love
the build up.
that you've got that sort of that ominous kind of tribal drumming with sort of the distant chanting vocals. It reminded me. Have you seen John Wick?
No,
I don't mean to turn this into a movie podcast.
I
But
haven't seen it.
there's the scene at the Red Circle Club in the first John Wick. It reminded me of that.
Show notes.
Okay.
I'd love to see this one live. I don't think they play it, but I really liked it. It was so close to being my killer. A really strong showcase for the band, and particularly love the sort of slightly metalness of the drums in the opening, and thought it was very atmospheric. So well done, enjoyed that one too. Almost my killer, but not quite.
Can I, before I get into my standout moment, you have to see the John Wicks. I need to bring this all to a screeching halt. Like,
Isn't
yourself.
that Keanu Reeves?
It's awesome. Everybody out there in podcast land, stop what you're doing and go watch John Wick.
Just start with the first one, like we do with Unshuffled.
Yeah, yep. Just start with the first one. Work your way through.
Okay.
I would do an Unshuffled on the John Wick movies.
Maybe we should.
In a heartbeat. Okay. Anyway, even the last one, which I've heard a lot of complaints about, still amazing. All right, okay. My standout moment is Other Voices, track 2.
Right.
And it's purely because James Murphy finally clears the way for Nancy Wang to like even introduces her to come on.
Tell him, Nancy.
Yep. Even introduces her, and I'm like, all right, it's about time.
Yeah.
It's a bit haunting, that song. It's kind of bouncy and rhythmic, but at the same time, there's that spoken word bit that's kind of haunting.
And it is quite.
He does a lot with mood.
Yeah, he does, and it's sort of about these paranoid thoughts and the tinfoil hats and you can't believe what you're told. There's sort of rantings of a paranoid madman, and it was good. I like that too. Another big bass line in that song. That was one of the repetitive robot dance songs that we've heard a few of them over the journey, but I like that one too. My standout lyric, you've already said yours. What was it? Something about your mum. What was it?
I'll say it again. Oh, good gracious, I sound like my mom. It's from the song Tonight. Which track was Tonight? Is like 6?
Yeah.
And that song also has space lasers. I would be remiss if I didn't give credit to the space lasers.
Just flipping through my notes, I note down lyrics here and there. So which one jumps out at me? Probably. Do we call "Tell 'Em Nancy" a lyric?
You could.
Yeah. Or that'll do. Let's just for giving Nancy the credit she deserves. That's my standout lyric. What were they thinking? Well, I think for you, it's pretty obvious, right?
Yes.
Yeah. And yeah, I can't believe they did that. I have to. Now that I've heard about that, I agree. What were they thinking? What were you thinking? So yeah. All right. Good. Band Brownlow we need to discuss, and I think I'm going to surprise you and give 3 votes to James Murphy.
Oh, shocker.
He's good.
He's good.
Yeah.
Agreed.
I think I've just not given votes recently for the last couple of albums.
That is true.
Have you got any thoughts on second and third best?
I do.
Tell me.
I'm going to continue to play the game, even though you're stonewalling.
Right.
So James Murphy again gets my 3. Nancy Wang gets my 2 because now she gets to actually come out front. And then Al Doyle gets my 1. He's got a songwriting credit on nearly all but 2 songs on this entire album.
Yep.
So.
Including Call the Police, and he plays the Korg Delta guitar and vocals on that song. Yeah, so he plays on How Do You Sleep. He plays cello, bowed mandolin, and congas.
See, man's busy.
On Change Your Mind, he plays snake guitar. It's like a different instrument every time, this guy.
Anybody on the Fun Machine?
Not a huge amount of Fun Machine on this, it seems. Piano. So that might be Al Doyle on the piano. Oh, in Black Synth. He's the piano player. Well, I'm stealing him. He's two votes for me, Al Doyle.
All right. Who gets your 1?
Nancy. I just copied you.
All right.
But when you're right, Scotty. They're the 3, 2, 1. There's no other way to put that.
All right. Well, if we're curious, then we've reached the end so far.
I love the way you keep telling. He's like, I forget you're doing it, and then at the end of every band, you're like, oh no.
Here we go.
Standard deviation was 8.3.
Here we go. Our third place overall for all the albums goes to Tyler Pope. He killed it in Sound of Silver. But I will say Al Doyle came in close on this one. And so Tyler Pope wins it for his performance of Sounds of Silver, but Al Doyle almost took it for American Dream. Then number 2 goes to Nancy Wang. She's been consistent throughout. And then number 1 goes to James Murphy.
Yeah, well done. Well deserved.
James Murphy, your award will be in the mail.
Yes, I bet he's looking forward to it. I'll give it to him in person when he's.
Oh, that's right. You're going to go see him.
When I go see him, yeah, which will be fun. It'll be fun. Looking forward to that. Do you think they'll ever put out a new album? We should talk overall. What did you think of this album? And then then you can answer that question.
This is a band that I think and I don't know if it's recency bias, but I feel like I liked every album better than the last one.
I think I agree. I'm always I like your new album better than your old album guy. Generally, or not always, but usually. But yeah, I think this is definitely my favorite of their 4 albums. Because a lot, like I love the sound of the previous album, but we had those issues with, that sounds far too much like that other song. I didn't get that on this album so much.
Right.
You could see their influences, but it just wasn't like this song is a direct rip-off of that other song. So that, so I didn't get those, nasty feelings you get when you realise that a song just sounds like another song. And yeah, I think it felt really cohesive as well, more so. Remember, because we've spoken about on those earlier albums, it was just sort of a jumping around, experimenting with different styles, including different vocal styles. He's not really jumping around vocal styles anymore, but also, even though there is a lot of variation from track to track, it all felt like it made sense, and there wasn't any sudden, like, what the hell's that doing there? It felt like a very well put together album, this one. Every song made sense in order, and I think just generally the songs were as strong as they've had.
Yeah, no, I agree. I don't know. I feel like I'm supposed to always just like the second or third album, and then just sort of be like, "You changed, man," for every album that comes out.
Yeah.
But this was one where every time we reviewed an album, I was like, "I think I like this one better than the last one," and I definitely felt that for this one. I like these final two albums better than the first two. And
Yeah.
it's also possible that I remember the first album, as we were talking about it, I had no idea how the hell to even talk about this band.
Yeah.
So it's possible through more listenings that I've learned how to sort of modify, right? Because there was nothing about, I don't think if anybody's doing the drinking game, it's been a while since you've taken a drink on anything regarding soaring or
Yes.
anthemic, right?
Yeah.
And so I've had to change my vocabulary as well.
Yeah. Do you think they'll ever release another one?
I suppose so. I don't see why they wouldn't.
I mean, I guess maybe this one had the "you said you'd quit" taint on it, so maybe it's not as loved as the others by their real fans. I'm not sure if that's tainted its reputation at all, but just if you just put that aside, I think musically it's easily the strongest.
Yeah, I mean they've already not quit and they're still touring, so I can't see why they wouldn't. I mean, there's no reason to not.
Well, maybe that's a lot of work. Well, this took years, right? I don't know. We'll see. I
Yeah.
wouldn't be surprised if it's their. I wouldn't be surprised if they never release anything else. But
Well, okay,
I will
well
tell.
they've already released Electric Lady Sessions, came out in 2019,
Right.
but there's nothing new on that.
Okay.
I'm just saying something else came out.
All right. Well, if they do, we will be reviewing it.
Here we go.
Tell me.
They just released a new song, 2022.
No.
New Body Roomba.
Really?
Yep.
Oof.
But it's just a song.
All right. Well, we'll have to link to that in the show notes. Just
Yeah.
a song in isolation.
Uh-huh.
All right. Cool. So we've got a big decision to make now, Scotty. Unless there's anything more you want to say about how you will remember LCD Soundsystem as we wrap up their last album.
Yeah. No, I enjoyed it. And there are, if I was making sort of occasionally as I go out and about, I'll just make a mixtape of songs to just sort of be playing in the background. And I can see some LCD Soundsystem making its way in there. But I don't think we're done. I think we'll be back.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. Are you glad we did them? Like, this is really different for us.
I am glad we did them. Yes, I'm glad we did them. I'm glad that I now kind of understand what LCD Soundsystem is. I'm also in anticipation of your next question. I'm ready to kick it up a little bit. I'm ready to. I know. We were talking about we need to branch out, and we branched out, and I'm happy we branched out, and I'm happy to branch out again because I know we've got another branching out on the horizon.
Yep.
But I wouldn't mind getting back into familiar territory in the interim.
Yeah, no, I'm the same. I need some crunchy guitars and back in my life ASAP. So we had mentioned. So we've got there's three ways we can go. There was Tame Impala was the one we had originally pegged to go on with after this. I think I want something heavier.
Yep.
Which leaves, but I'd still want to do Tame Impala for sure. So let's just leave that for the moment. But I still want to come back to that. But the other options are there is yesterday, and I went to the listening party online on Bandcamp. So I've heard it. I was kind of doing other things, but I was hearing it as it was released on Bandcamp. The new Pallbearer album, and I mean it's heavy, and we like them. The other option is, I think we mentioned on the last podcast, because I'm going to see them, there's a band called All Them Witches, which we're both keen to get onto as well. So what are your thoughts?
What is when are you going to see All Them Witches?
June sometime. So
I feel like just for your benefit, I mean, if it was me going to see All Them Witches, I would like to get a bit of an education before I went to see them.
Right. Oh, so how thoughtful of you.
So I would say we start there. But with that said, that Pallbearer is just kind of hanging around out there, and it seems like it would be nice to go ahead and do that. But I personally would say I'd like to jump into All Them Witches, then Pallbearer, then Tame Impala.
All right. Well, we can sort of pick up the Pallbearer. We don't have to listen to the whole All Them Witches start to finish. We could listen to the first couple, come back to the Pallbearer, then push on with All Them Witches, something like that.
Right. I like
but
that.
Yeah, that's very thoughtful of you, and I'd love to spend a bit of time, particularly with their first album. I always find out a lot about a band just from that first album. So thanks, Scott. I appreciate that. And then maybe after the gig, we'll see where we're up to and think about throwing on the new Pallbearer in. Just a spoiler alert, that first listen yesterday, it sounded really good. I don't think I'm ruining any major surprise there for you.
You said they're back to kind of the longer songs, right?
Yeah, they've a lot of 10-minute plus 9 or 10 or longer songs. But yeah, really good. I'll let you have a listen. But yeah, I liked it. But I'll let you have your own opinions on it when you get to it and compare notes then. But yeah, so much good music out there. LCD Soundsystem's been fun, and I've enjoyed it. So I don't want to sound like we're just like, oh, finally they're finished. I did have fun along the way, particularly with this album. I thought it was a good one. So nice way to finish, at least for now, for them. And I'll be able to report back in on LCD after I see them live. So I'll give you an update, the podcast after that one. But for now, we've got to go listen to the first album from All Them Witches. Which
is that called Our Mother Electricity?
Don't know. Let me Google.
Okay.
Oh, they've been fairly prolific, haven't they? They're only a fairly recent band, but they've got.
They have more than I realized. For some reason, the album "Sleeping Through the War" I thought was their first one, but they've got 3 more prior to that.
Have we bitten off more than we can chew here?
I don't think so. I think we can do this.
Not like how many? We've got. Yeah, the first one is Our Mother Electricity.
Yeah. I mean, it looks like they have 6.
There's 6. Yeah, we can do 6.
We can do 6. But I think, and we'll find out, but I think like where they really started was like Sleeping Through the War.
Yeah. Okay. Well, I think Dying Surfer is also well regarded. Dying Surfer.
Oh, is it? Okay. That could be. Yeah. That could be.
But anyway, let's have a listen. Our Mother Electricity is the first one, so that'll be the next album we do on Unshuffled, listeners, which hopefully you'll tune in for when we get to it. And then we'll have the added little bonus of me as we're listening through their albums. I'll get to go and see them live as well, which will be fun. There's so many good bands coming through Europe at the moment for summer. There's all these gigs popping up, but so few of them come to Lisbon. It's tantalizing seeing these bands that go through, Germany and Luxembourg and the Netherlands and those over that side of Europe and don't quite make it over here. So it's nice when a band does.
So I was just listening to an interview with somebody. I don't remember who. It was an interview I was listening to yesterday on a competing podcast, Broken Record, which is a great podcast if you haven't heard it.
Okay.
I was listening to an interview with somebody, and they were talking about how, I guess, over the last couple of years, it's become more difficult to tour Europe as a whole. And I guess there are more restrictions. I don't know. When I lived in Spain, it just seemed like if you were going to Germany, you hopped in a bus and you just drove all over Europe. But whoever I was listening to yesterday was saying that actually border restrictions have increased over the last couple of years, and you can't do that anymore. You can't just hop in a bus and drive from Germany to Portugal and just pick up gigs along the way. You actually have to, I guess buses can't travel across the borders anymore or something. I don't remember. She was...
Okay. I don't know about that. None of that's never seemed to have been a problem for me. I've never even been stopped crossing a border, but I guess I haven't crossed that many.
I mean, you do. You drive from Portugal to...
Went to Spain. We've been
in Italy,
France, Belgium. I've driven all over Europe. Very rarely does anybody...
It was... When I was there, it was never a problem. I do remember just driving, I mean, granted, I was going from like Spain to France or Spain to
Right. I figured it was more financial because people in Germany are paying, 50 euros for a ticket and 10 euros for a beer. No one's paying that in Portugal. So
right.
I think it's just gig prices and profit more than anything else. That would be my theory.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's so great. It's so nice when someone sort of breaks through and gets here. So I'm always happy to go and support whenever I can. You haven't seen any bands or anything like that, have you? Nothing else you want to talk about?
What? I think not since we've talked last. I saw Elvis Costello, but I think we talked about that.
Yeah, we talked about him and the giant organ.
Yeah,
you saw his giant organ.
You should title this podcast should be titled Elvis Costello's Giant Organ.
So thanks listeners for tuning in as always. If you do want to contact us, you can email us unshuffledpod@gmail.com. We're on X, as it's now officially called, @unshuffledpod. And our show notes and all our past episodes and all the rest go onto our website, which is unshuffledpod.com. And it sounds like we've got a heap of show notes coming out of this one, so get ready for that one. Thanks as always to you, Scott. Thanks also to Small Stone and Seven Planets for letting us use the track Vanguard in the opener and in the closing section. You'll hear it in a moment. And looking forward to the next one. And thanks for thinking of me in our next band choice, Scott. Looking forward to that. And we'll chat about it soon.
Yeah. Thank you, Matt. Thank you, listener.